Hey Zookeepers, it's your boy, one of the Kaiju Hollywood bad boys, Brandon, here with a special one. We got on everybody's favorite horse on VHS. That's right, it's Horsey. And we're talking WXIII Patlabor the Movie 3. What a, man, they loved those titles in the mid-aughts for anime movies. God bless them. Listen, it's a great episode. We get some really interesting discussion points. But as always, if you like what you hear, tell a friend, spread the word on social media like a Blue Sky. You can email us at podzookypodcast@gmail.com. That's Podzooky podcast@gmail.com. And we'll read whatever you write on air. Well, within reason. And then, recommend a movie or something. We'll probably do an episode about it. Anyways, let's get to the fun. There's big robots. And, you'll see. Bye.
Render unto Ghidra what is Ghidra's. 10 to 1 he sees you through a beaker and a tweezers. Read the fine print and be like, what's the big deal? Spun wheels of steel since broke wheel, big wheel. Back when it was greasy as curl, now it's easy dread. Had a rhyme on how they used to tease him about his peasy head. Yes, y'all, to the beat. Have a ball.
Average American household.
I don't. Do you think the average American household cooks like most of the times of the week though now?
I mean, I don't think they have much of a choice.
Yeah, that's true. Save money. The rotisserie chicken can.
I know there are families in my building, and I smell cooking quite often, which always makes me feel good, even if
it does.
Groceries are almost expensive as gasoline is.
Mm-hmm. 2026, what a great year. Hopefully you're finding us in the future and everything's gone right. Probably hasn't. I feel like we should get into... Should we just start off before even introducing the guests in the podcast and talk about who the Rizzler is?
I feel bad for this because this doesn't relate at all to the episode or our guest or the movie that we watched.
But it relates to I'd say the ethos of this podcast.
It absolutely does.
The memento mori of this podcast.
Because at the very least, for as long as I've been on this podcast, I love bringing a bad drink to share.
Yeah.
To share with my boys.
Shout out to also, if we had able to get Dane Arden in time, we've made him drink a terrible energy drink every time. I mean, we're still over his next episode he's on, but this is very much a Dane Arden coded episode. So shout out to Dane if they're listening. We'll talk about it later. We're going to save this also for later, so we're just teasing it, right? We're tizzlering. We're tizzling?
Yeah, no, we're tizzlering.
We're tizzling the jizzler.
Anyway, so this is the Rizzler's favorite podcast.
It's Podzooky, America's only podcast the Rizzler listens to. We talk about monster movies and other fun things. I'm one of your Kaiju Hollywood bad boys, Brandon Kirkman.
I'm another one of your Kaiju Hollywood bad boys, Luke Evans. Flip.
I'm your third Hollywood Kaiju bad boy, Martin Felshman. Brandon, introduce our special equestrian guest.
Okay, not just any horse. This horse is on VHS. We got Horsey, which I realized when I sing your name out loud is really funny to me. Is I didn't realize it's a joke. Horsey. Horsey.
Yeah, it's very subtle.
Horsey.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know if you noticed. It's kind of like horse and then C.
It's like horse.
So
I was talking about this too with Martin. I just like the name horse on VHS because it evokes such a certain image and aesthetic that I like right away. Mm-hmm. Very, very My Little Pony coded, but like I'm talking like 90s the VHS tapes you get next to like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or something of that sort.
Well, I think it's kind of...
what's all the horse VHSs in our minds?
Well, I mean, for me, it feels a little bit melancholy because when I think of a horse on VHS, I think of a horse that had to have existed in the 90s. That means it's probably dead by now.
Yeah, it sounds like you've read the comic Nothing Doing, which I love and want to give a shout out to early, that Horsey does.
Thank you, yeah.
I feel like I want to shout out that comic because it's really good. People like it a lot, which is great, but it really captures, I think, the stupidity and mundanity of working in the workforce in the modern world, but not in like a Dilbert way, but like a good, fun way to read. And also the art's really fantastic.
I have to say,
yeah.
The it's like Dilbert but good thing is a thing I hear a lot, and every time it's like it's fulfilling, and only more so since
and also
Mr. Dilbert
the
went
art's
away.
So good and cute. I love the art so much. You got such a good for designing panels and spacing, which is a thing I think a lot of people don't think about too much.
Thank you.
It's really important.
It's very nice.
And then it's I'd say that it's like Dilbert but good. It comes from a place of love because I grew up reading like all the comic collections I could get at like the local Borders. So I had like Calvin and Hobbes, of course, but I mean I was getting the slop. Like I had the Dilbert collections. I had Doonesbury as an 8-year-old, which I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Doonesbury is one thing. Opus, I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Is the really weird one.
I had Opus and Bill too.
Not
Opus
that it's
and
the
Bill
weird.
was good though.
Yeah, not the weirdest thing ever, but it was that. Those were the ones that like your conspiracy theorist uncle would
Shout
read.
out to, as I've said, Brett Berkeley quite a bit. Love his art. Love Opus and Bill. Love Bloom County. Doonesbury, I never really followed up with that.
Like Funky Winkerbean, that's like the dregs of comics.
The Iraq comic section I think about so much. It got funky. I'm gonna say that. You know, actually,
Luane.
What were your comics growing up that really got you into the mindset of what you do now?
You know, I love the way she funky on my winker.
Please don't. You're banned from the podcast again.
I was actually I had the staples, the Sunday funny pages, etc. Your Peanutses and your Garfields. But I mostly read. I was a big webcomics kid. Once I found out about the internet, I was just like, oh well, newspaper comics are old and dead to me. The real shit is VG Cats. That's art.
Oh my god! So this is okay. This
every
is
Friday.
This is running in It doesn't. Even back in the day when he was doing the comic full time, he still would miss the deadlines. We had to. This is such a inside baseball for the podcast I do for the Magic podcast that's coming out. So this is still probably going to be like a month or two before it's released. We had, as I was saying earlier, Josh Borman on, who hopefully future guest for Podzooky too. And we started talking about webcomics because I loved like RPG World was a big one for me as a kid. Mac Hall was another big one. But then VG Cats was a big one too. And then we looked up the history of what happened with the lead artist or the creator of VG Cats. And it was so depressing we had to cut it from the episode.
Oh my God.
It's really bad.
Is it okay for Podzooky?
It's okay for Podzooky. They basically... They got married and they had kids with a partner. I assume they were in love at one point, but then they got divorced and they became super divorce guy.
Oh, good.
Where he was basically not paying like child support, so he started doing VG Cat porn to make money for it. But he didn't want to do it. Sex work is work. Same with sex art. But like he didn't want to do it. It's very begrudgingly. Then he
didn't want to do it.
And he wasn't getting enough money for it. So then he got into AI and he became an AI psychosis guy.
Oh.
So
that's sad.
Full AI psychosis, where he thought he was like talking with a spiritual being that was leading him to a new path in life.
And like currently,
yeah, currently.
Okay.
So that's why we cut it from that episode because it was so depressing.
And now it's here.
We'll keep it Podzooky. It's here. It found a home finally. I mean, it is a bummer because I really did love VG Cats.
Yeah, it taught me the basics of. He had like a tutorial on the website on like how to scan your comic and how to touch it up in Photoshop, and I read that in 8th grade, and I was just like, this is everything. Now I know everything about making a comic, and then I didn't do that until I was 25.
It's the path that a lot of brilliant creatives end up going down, unfortunately.
Well, we've had like one of the paths of good on here. Like we've had Jeff Jackson before. They're doing great with life. They're still doing unquestionable content. And then also I think about people like RPG World with Ian Cuterly. I always forget how to say his last name.
Oh, Ian James Quarterly.
Ian James Quarterly. Where like they're doing Steven Universe and OKKO, which is a great comic or cartoon. And then you have your VG Cat guys, and then you have. What's some other bad paths that? Oh, of course, Sin City. How could we forget about Sin? Or not Sin City.
Sinfest.
Sin World.
Sinfest.
Oh,
Sinfest.
Frank Miller. Oh, okay. Because
I mean, Frank Miller.
Because Frank Miller went crazy too.
Yeah,
so that's also applicable.
Actually.
And around the time he started writing Sin City.
Oh, Control-Delete.
Oh yeah. Well, he always sucked.
Yeah, I know.
Well. There's so many of them that were like there are good ones where you see the mental illness happen, and there's the ones where the comics always were the mental illness.
Yes.
Yeah, like mine.
That's a very good way to put it, actually. Yeah. And great. Hey, good news. Your mental illness fucking rocks. It's really good. Don't get rid of that thing. I guess we should get into the actual movie. Once we actually are a monster movie, and we're staying on task with it because you had such a fucking baller recommendation that came out of nowhere. I want to talk about this a little bit too, but we're going to talk Patlabor 3. Is it pronounced Patlabor? This has always been a debate. I know some people say Pat Labor.
I've always said Pat Labor.
Yeah, this is Patrick Labor.
It's a mouthful, whatever it is. Like I think it's probably maybe easier to say if you said it like English, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that, obviously.
Patlabor 313, but it's spelled out with Roman numerals for the third
So
one.
it is Roman numerals.
It is Roman
okay.
numerals.
Well, it's just weird you see the 3.
Well, the W's there first because it's supposed to stand for waste for byproduct.
Wait, so
because-
why is it 13?
Yeah.
Oh, because that's a number. And,
Yeah. Okay.
it's
So,
important to
It's
number.
W13.
so you got to pronounce it like Worcestershire sauce. You got to say it
Worcestershire.
fast before people realize you fucked it up.
Yeah. To talk about a history. Another
13
thing,
Patlabor the Movie 3.
It's so confusing. But a thing I do want to talk about is another thing that I got really into when I got the internet right away, and then also because of UPN and Dragon Ball Z. Love anime, but I was by growing up College of DuPage, and they would have an anime convention each year. And I got a bunch of like old VHS copies of Patlabor. Patlabor. I don't know. I'm gonna steal
Patrick Labor. Say the
Patrick
full
Labor.
name.
Patrick Labor.
I kept wanting to call it Probotector, the PAL name for Contra.
Contra, yeah, but it was like the first, I'd say, like honest, like slice of life anime I saw, and mecha, and I'm like, this is so good and so well written. I loved it, and I saw the most ironic thing with this episode. I saw the first 2 movies. I never saw the third one because it came out.
Oh.
It came out around the time I was in high school, so probably the release. And when I eventually got over to the States, I was already in college and forgot about a great series. So watching this was kind of a nice little gift, but also it's out of left field. I'll get into this as we get into the actual full reviews of this, but this is like a very much a fire walk with me to a Twin Peaks series, of my opinion, of like how different it is in the vibe, in the shift. But
Yeah, I knew nothing about this going into it. You just sent the link to the thing, and even when I saw 3, I thought about looking it up to figure out what it was, but then I just didn't.
Yeah.
And so luckily you didn't need to, but looking it up after watching the movie, I was kind of like, I kind of got the idea that's what was going on, though I also didn't realize the main protagonist of the series kept showing up
In
in the
sidelines,
background
yeah.
all the time.
My favorite thing too about her is that she's like one of the main characters, is that she's like a classic anime girl voice, and everything's so serious in the movie. So every once in a while when she talks, I'm like, "There's an anime girl here. What the fuck?" But in a really good way. I should say though, before we get too deep into actually getting into the movie, what's your experience with Patlabor?
Patlabor.
I'm gonna say Patlabor. That's how I've been
That
saying
works.
forever.
I'm going to keep saying Patrick Labor.
Okay, but Horace, tell us about your relationship to Pat Labor.
Yeah, so it's funny. I actually I've also never seen this movie, but I'm a huge Pat Labor fan. I found it. It's actually kind of funny how I found it. In college I watched Gundam for the first time. I watched one of those ones.
Gundam.
Tell me
MST.
what happened in it. Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorites.
And I was like, wow, I'm really into how not realistic, but like I was into the treatment of the mech, how much the characters focused on like treating it like a real machine. And so I was like trying to look for other shows like that, and I stumbled on Pat Labor, and it was kind of like smoking the whole pack of that, because it's like not only is it the whole,
That really
not only
is.
is it treating it like a real machine, it's like a car, and you have to get a license, and you have to think about your insurance. So I really love.
Then you have to have the philosophical debate: is this a cab?
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about, of
Yeah,
course.
so I really love the show, and the reason I never watched this movie is because I heard, that it had basically nothing to do with Pat Labor, which is something I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yeah,
And
they were right, but I think in a good way.
yeah, well, as a super fan, as a super fan, I was like, I want to see my special friends. I want to hang out with my friends on the Labor team.
Where's the anime?
Where's the
girl?
anime girl? So yeah, no. So when when we were talking about like what we were gonna watch, I was just like, well, this is something I've never seen. I'm not like I don't know a whole lot about monster movies. I appreciate them, but not like Godzilla is a guy I know. I would hang out with Godzilla, but but otherwise it's like
It's the whole point of this podcast, basically.
Yeah.
That's the dude we want to hang.
Oh, yeah.
But I was just like, what's
Yeah.
something I know a little bit about that can sort of translate here, and this just sort of came to mind.
Yeah. I should say too, this is a Studio Madhouse production, which was like fucking in full gear in the 2000s. Not surprising at all. This was basically almost done back to back with Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence, and it's so obvious
Yep,
to see
that
those
makes
connections.
sense.
Also, because the soundtrack was done by the same guy, which was
Well,
Kenji Kawa. God, the soundtrack for this is so.
It works
good.
on the same level, I think, that Ghost in the Shell does as a police procedural.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
really effective as that. But this basically is, like you said, it's a big a part of the Patlabor
Thank you for
universe.
spoiling me.
But it's basically, yeah, like ideas like this has been done in DC or Marvel comics, where like, oh, we got this whole universe of people. What is like an ordinary person up to? And like not an ordinary person, police detectives.
Yeah.
And I think that idea is really cool. But also maybe it wouldn't be cool if you were a fan of the regular series.
It's so funny because I think we've been able to come around like to the full actual realization, appreciation of this movie, because I was researching on this, and like the online reception, especially in a lot of forums and reviews nowadays, are really, really positive. But if you deep dive to the early aughts when they were coming out, people were like, "What the fuck? What'd they do? What'd they do to my Patlabor?" And then now going back to him, like I think the Fire Walk with Me comparison is like really apt. Because that's a very similar thing when Twin Peaks was at its popularity, and then Fire Walk with Me came out. People hated it because it was so different.
Yeah, what the fuck? Where's Kyle MacLachlan?
Exactly.
And what's David Bowie doing here?
And now it's the same thing where in like the 2020s now people are like, no, this is kind of like a masterpiece. Which I mean, I'm playing my hand a little bit early, but like, I gotta say early, I fucking love this movie so much. That shit was so good.
I think we can get into the plot.
Yeah, we should get into the plot. Also, I should say this was directed by Fumihiko Takayama. They didn't do a lot, but they did a lot of anime series in the 80s and 90s. A big one, of course, Super Dimension Fortress Macross, and then Gundam AD War in the Pocket, which is one of my favorite.
Okay, so they did like Robotech. That was the robot anime du jour that I remember.
And then Patlabor itself, like the writing, character design, like the whole team is from a lot of people that work with Studio Madhouse. A team called Headgear, and that's made up of Masami Yuki, Yutika Izubuchi, Kazunori Ito, Akimi Takada, and then Mamoru Oshii. Oh, those are all, if you look them up, super fucking big names. Mamoru Oshii, of course, is the Ghost in the Shell guy. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Gotta fix it. It's Money in the Bank if they're working on it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Mamoru Oshii did, of course, Ghost in the Shell and quite a few other big ones. Even starting off with, I think, the first few, they've all been involved with like big Studio Madhouse productions and other things like that, as well as other mecha and animes over the years. I already talked about who did the music just because the music really stuck out to me. But yeah, getting into the plot of this, we're following two detectives. It's a detective movie. We're going full. Why did I forget the name of that HBO show?
Oh, True Detective.
Yeah, True Detective and Seven were
those vibes
movies
are
I kept thinking of, and they got to have the same sort of noirish bummer vibe.
And I'm going to shout out a previous Podzooky movie too. This also is big The Host vibes. Have you ever seen the movie The Host from South Korea?
100%.
But yeah, they start off with basically a shot of people kind of working out in an ocean doing like a fishing project, it looked like, or something of the sort. But basically a giant boat notices a bunch of pieces falling off from a helicopter, or no, overflying airplane that breaks off into the ocean.
It really throws you into the deep end of the world of Patlabor without explaining that, oh, this is a world where there are robots and they're kind of like forklifts.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the third
They're
movie.
used for every job.
You're on.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, but I haven't seen
You've
the
done
other
the
ones.
Pat labor at this point. So, yeah, so they basically start going through that, and we start following basically Detective Kasumi and then Detective Hada right away. I thought it was interesting. Hada was voiced by Hiroyuki Harada, who does the voice of Sanji famously, so pretty big voice actor. The guy who did the voice for the other older detective with the walking stick for Kasumi was Karoshiki Wadabiki, but he's more of a live action guy in Japan with not too many notable roles over here in the States.
I think we're introduced to Detective Hada first, and I really like their introduction. It's we see them being terrible at baseball.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a real like not quite save the cat, but I think it works the same. We see him suck at baseball and bawling all the runners,
also
hitting somebody.
Meeting Dr. Masaki,
and now we like
too.
him.
So like we get introduced to another big character later on, where they kind of. It seems like they have kind of a spark. They stare a cigarette too while he's given a drive home after that, I think, as well. Another cool thing is that the animation right off the bat, it's one of those things that I think my favorite style, where everything's so mundane and normal, but it's all so well animated. It's just like, oh, I miss that. Oh, it's good.
No, it's back when you could throw all that money at animation before there was a huge economic bubble in Japan multiple times.
And it's not like a One Punch Man where like we're gonna animate the most epic fight scenes. Like we're just gonna have the hell out of these guys walking and talking as they smoke cigarettes. I'm like, yes, give me that.
The way it should be.
More ciggies. Also, timing is right now in Blue Sky. There's a huge cigarette debate going on right now, which I'm like, what are we all 12? Just fucking smoke a cigarette if you want.
No. What is the debate?
Yeah. Get this. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Actually, smoking cigarettes is bad for you.
Yeah,
If you're a wimp.
Yeah, I know. Blue Skies. Yeah, I'm stronger than them. You know what? My grandpa smoked cigarettes all the way till he died at ripe age of 59. So I don't know. I don't see any problems with that. Anyways, getting back to this. I should say at this point too, I realize that as a fan of the previous Patlabor movies and the series, I was like, my homies aren't showing up in this. Like, this is clearly we're following different characters. And I think it's like way later in the movie that you actually see them and kind of intervene in a few of the scenes. They have like a debriefing of everything that's going on, and you see like their major that's there. I'm like, oh, I know that guy. That's Special Unit 2 right there. That's a captain.
Well, this movie really suffers from very often, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Like, I get the general idea of like they're investigating this murder, but I guess I don't really, like I said, I'm not really sure exactly the actions that are going on consistently.
Yeah, I think the movie does that on purpose though too. I think they make it really feels like they want you to be in a like, this is the days that they're going through this case and living in this world where we're not going to hold your hand or walk you through it on any of the things happening. And I really like that approach, but definitely is very like disorienting at a few parts in the movie, I'd say. They basically have this thing where they keep getting more and more information about what's going on with like both break-ins and basically these murders around like these dockside areas, and they're trying to figure out what's happening, why it's kind of like seems like they're happening from one person. They think it's like a killer at first, but then as you know, not to play your hands too early, there's a big monster going around.
Well, how they end up making the leap? They're in the tempura restaurant, and they see the giant goby, and then he immediately starts thinking, like, oh, what if they're being killed by a fish? Yeah. I don't understand that jump.
I think they did mention at one point that there's just weird, like, kind of bite marks that are too big for human mouth on a few of the victims. But yeah, even then,
it's odd because there's a lot of sometimes there are things that I feel like we should see happening or should see that we don't. Like even the initial, the fisherman's talking about baseball with his friend, with the other fisherman, and then the mech starts to break up. It falls down, but we don't see that. We see the fisherman seeing it, but we don't see the action itself.
And then another cool thing too, I think, is that this movie would reward watching it a few times because there's a lot of very quick cut scenes where they show you one thing happening and it goes to the next scene. That's like kind of a big point to the movie or what's going on too. Like literally like the one time they show the dolphins that have been killed and then showing up on the shore, it's like literally a brief flash second that they show that.
Okay, there's a lot of, they'll do that. They'll have somebody doing something and then a little bit later they'll explain exactly what it is they're doing. I guess I could not watch this movie with my fucking parents.
They'd be asking, who's he? What's he doing?
Just keep watching.
Are they married?
I know. I have all the same information you do.
Yeah. This definitely don't watch it with your parents. Not because there's going to be a lot of anime titties. It's going to be because there's a lot of anime plotting going on.
Yeah.
Though there are some later. We're going to spend some time talking about that for sure.
Oh, boy.
As this goes, they kind of get a connection that there's something with Toto Labs. It seems like it's a shell corporation that's connected with, for some reason, these murders.
Well, they first realized that Ev, the monster, is attacking mechs that are all made by the same company.
Yes.
And then, except for one mech that was made by a different company, but it has the same superconductor made by the original company, and that's how they come across the Shell Corporation stuff.
And I like that both of the detectives are doing separate work at this time. Like I like this is a very much everybody's good at their job. It's like a competency porn movie for sure. As they kind of connect the pieces, both the detectives show up like around this warehouse rave that's going on because it's actually more of a coincidence because they had a break-in and they're getting a ride home from another police officer at the time. So they go to the warehouse where it's happening. And the scene in the setup for this is basically a very futuristic giant warehouse where like there's this very complex crane structure that kind of is coordinating all of these different trucks and cars inside of it for like shipping and storage. And then the power cuts out, and then, oh man, this whole scene's so good. Everything about this part, I think, is like one of my favorite things about this movie. Basically, the power shuts down, and then the security crew is slowly getting killed off. They still haven't quite shown the monster.
Well, let's talk about the monster.
We should talk about the monster for sure. Yeah. When the detectives get there, they basically are trying to help out and see what's going on, and they finally see the giant monster. Very cool where they do this kind of low lighting, like red kind of amplified definition on everything and the characters running around. And when you see the giant sea monster for the first time, and once again, shout out to The Host, great South Korean movie. It looks almost exactly like the creature from The Host. Maybe a little more feminine design.
When did The Host come out?
Like 2006?
2006.
So The Host was after this.
It was after this. Okay. I really feel like he had to have seen this movie. Like, there's so many things that overlap. Also, the fact that it's an American corporation that was funding Japan to do these.
Well, even
experiments.
before that, it's still monster created from American experimentation or nuclear testing. It's the same thing as Godzilla, really.
Godzilla,
But-
just like the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Horse. Great connection you made.
But yeah,
with this movie.
we see the monster. It's kind of designed like catfish, but with like human teeth.
Yeah.
It's a cool monster design.
They also, I think, do a good job of introducing it and making it extremely brutal. Like, the first security guard it grabs, it tears in half with its mouth, and not even like a deliberating what it's doing, but almost like a mindless, like, I'm going to eat this thing. I'm going to keep walking and doing my thing. It has these weird tendrils that come out of its head that have these, like, kind of almost purplish, like, eyes that glow. Everything about the design for the monster I really like a lot.
Yeah, though, okay, we have this cool set piece inside the experimentation warehouse where wounded older detective has to swing on a crane, and I don't believe he would have been able to do that.
Yeah.
Or then when he jumped back onto the ledge, he would have broken every bone in his other leg.
Yeah.
It's adrenaline. He's doing
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. And the whole scene,
But no, I'm saying, like, then the monster falls into the bay, and we don't really see much of the monster anymore throughout the rest of the movie, even when we do finally see it again.
A very weird thing with it, too, is it pulls off a piece of a leftover, like, mech unit with it, and it kind of, like, starts using it as almost like kind of a shell or armor after that.
Oh, yeah.
They don't fully explain that, but it's really neat.
Yeah, I didn't
like
make
it a
the
lot.
connection until later that was like, they introduced it again later, and they're like, oh, and it's wearing this little shell made out of a labor, and I until this moment actually I did not connect it was that labor that fell.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm talking about.
Like a
just
little
things that are a
America.
little confusing.
Yeah.
There was another. I thought there was going to be a second monster
yeah.
because don't they go to the lab at some point where Seiko works, and it's like people are being killed in the lab?
My impression with that was, I think, the most confusing part of the movie is that it
yeah.
was supposed to be a flashback, but they didn't quite explain that it was a flashback.
Okay, that
Because I thought the tissue they took was going to become another creature.
And hey, listeners at home, email us at podzookipodcast@gmail.com to explain, was this a flashback or was this really...
They even mention in another scene that because it's created with cancer cells, if we're split in two, it would create. That's just kind of something
I
that's
did
set
have
up
that
but
thought
not
for a
really
second, too.
paid off.
Yeah, the Nishiwaki cells, which I thought was interesting because a very weird factoid I knew is that Junzaburo Nishiwaki is a famous like Dada artist and writer, postmodern writer.
It's
from
also
Japan.
that weird kind of fascination that Japan had with like mitochondrial biology in the
Parasite
90s.
Eve, if you will, Parasite
Yeah.
Eve 2s. Man, that game was so good.
It's the powerhouse of the cell.
The voice acting for that game was also so good. At this point they're kind of setting up and they're giving you time to figure out all of the players in the parts what they played in it. The relationship that Hada has with Maisaki starts getting a little bit closer, and she reveals that her husband had been killed a few years back, and she had a daughter. They don't talk much about it, and you're like, this is going to be bad later. I know this is going to be very bad. But yeah, they get a little bit closer. She's working at Toto Labs, and as everyone kind of guesses it goes on, she's kind of responsible for everything that's happening.
I mean, anytime somebody in this movie is like a little bit too pale, they're going to be up to something sinister.
Yeah, and her supervisor's just like, I need to get this covered up and done with, playing the classic role. Once again, I like that the competency point of this movie is that they have their first meeting with an older detective, Detective Kasumi's like, oh, the guy in the glasses is going to talk. He's our man. He's our patsy for sure.
Again, let's talk about the main detective team of Hada and Kasumi.
Yeah.
That's the meat and potatoes of the movie.
Let me tell you, I love the stew. I'm going to eat this whole stew up, baby.
Yeah.
They're great. I really like them together.
And yeah, I loved seeing them like actually investigating crime, even if I'm not 100% sure what the crime was. Like, I know people are dying, but I'm not really sure what the evil corporation was up to other than making bioweapons.
Yeah, and the interesting thing they mentioned a few times is that the basically director of the project keeps saying like, hey, I knew this would get out of control, but you said we could not put a kill switch in this, that we had to keep all evidence and what research we did. So it's kind of interesting that they're trying to even make it seem like there's some ethics even behind the people that kept it around. But even then they're like, okay, we got to do something about this to cover up. And eventually he ends up getting like a passport and credit card saying like, head off to Florida, get out of here. We don't need to deal with
Yes.
this.
Good place for it.
Which is also from the Japanese government and one of the people working with the Patlabor team, which I thought was interesting. So
I think they should have given the passport to the monster.
yeah, you know what? Florida's going to do real good for you. You got the whole Everglades systems you can go through.
Oh, they've also created this world for the movie where there are all these different bureaucratic systems that don't trust each other.
Yes.
And
it's very
that,
much a Shin Godzilla feel there too.
well, there's this overall overarching tension in the world that at the end of the movie I feel like supposed to be kind of eased when they all start working together, but it doesn't really. They don't play it that way.
No, yeah. Everyone's kind of fitting in their own parts, but more in a we have a job we have to do together begrudgingly.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I think it's very realistic, which is kind of a fun take on it too.
Yeah, and that's very classic. That's something that's very present throughout Patlabor. From we didn't really touch on what the series is much, but it's basically there's a series of OVAs and there's a series of there's a TV show, and then a series of movies. And throughout all of those, the relationship between like the police and the military, and the tensions there. That arises in different ways, so it's like in some ways, even though this is a very different movie, it's still going back to like the same themes and examining or presenting them.
I mean, that's one thing I like about this series is like even them using the Patlabors. I'm saying it funnier than we do each time.
Patlabor.
But even in the original series, in like the OVAs, even when they'd use it, it was like, well, we need to get permission and we need to get the license out to do this, and we have to have basically these clearances. And they even kind of touch on some of that later on in the film. But I like that. Of course, the Patlabor mecha shows up at the end to fight the beast, but I like even that's kind of like a tease as it happens, and it's a very brief thing. It's almost like you would feel like when you watch a Godzilla movie and they have those weird sonar lasers, if like for some reason that was the main character of Godzilla originally, and like all of a sudden we're hanging out with the lizard guy. It's a very interesting approach. I like it a lot though for how they did it. Now,
I'm still trying to figure out why the labs were making the monsters.
for fun.
Yeah.
It's some kind of project they're doing for the military.
It also is for, I guess, for pharmas, because they gave away, apparently, like, the head was, like, on some of the medication they made from it that's supposed to help with, like, fighting cancer and possibly a cure for cancer as well.
Okay, because, they were experimenting with cancer cells.
Yeah.
And the Nikishimi cells,
Yeah.
but they were feeding that to the creature. Was it creating the cells?
Yeah, it was kind of basically they found that its body could, like, contain them, and it started to kind of, like, rapidly evolve and change from it, too.
Okay.
Okay, so they just fucked up.
Yeah, I think so. They fucked it pretty
Because they
badly.
were thinking like, oh, this thing could eat cancer cells, but it's like, oh, wait, no, if this thing exists, you have bigger problems than cancer.
Well, then what was the point of the shell corporations?
It'd just be shells, I guess, right?
Yeah, again, I'm just these holes that maybe if I read the Wikipedia page would be explained more.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing a decent amount of research for this one because I was really excited after watching it. Like, there's a lot of cool shit going on with this. And yeah, I feel like there are a lot of very briefed over details they don't get back to. I did want to ask Horst, have you watched more past like these series and time points? Because I know they've done more OVAs and like animations over the years, but I haven't really kept up past this even with Patlabor.
Yeah, so my understanding, I haven't seen anything newer than this besides like I think there was like some short they put out on YouTube a few years ago. The only like full series they did after this was a live action one, which I couldn't find any. I mean, I'm sure it's available if I really wanted to like, deep dive, but I couldn't find any English translations of it or any subs or anything. My understanding
Do you
is
have
the
any
live
details
action.
about it?
Yeah, I think Oshii came back to direct for that as well. My understanding is it's sort of like a soft reboot, based in the OVA timeline. So it technically takes place after the movie, but kind of retread some of the plot from the original OVA. So nothing like too exciting to me. There is a new series coming out soon, I believe. I think released originally as a series of movies is how they're doing it. I'm not sure if I'm excited about it because it is a modern mecha anime, which means it will have modern mecha animation, which means it will have 3D models that do not look as cool as the mechs in these movies.
It's just, I think it's because like you're working, and this thing is what drives me crazy because like even modern ones where they have to do that, it still works kind of, but you instantly have to base it in kind of like somewhat realistic physics when you do 3D. And like the thing that's beautiful about anime is it's so not realistic.
It's animation. You should be able to squash and stretch something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, especially like going back and watching any of these scenes or like once again the classic Gundams or like 80 War in the Pocket of like that's why they're so kind of great. Yeah, it's always weird when you have to ground it to something reality, like with the 3D model.
Well, I just think of the original ones when they first started doing that. Like, isn't that anime that original Adult Swim anime that everybody hated didn't have mechs with 3D
Oh
models?
yeah, GPX.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Damn, we're going down memory lane.
Yeah,
like
we are.
Zoids again,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it
very
was like
Zoidy.
Zoids.
Very Zoidy.
and which also had 3D models for there, but they were
Yeah.
at least like animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to
Voltron,
get away with
single person Voltrons.
You hate to see it. I'll be
Oh
honest
yeah.
with you.
Oh, I guess those are just homeschooled Voltron kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we explained enough to
They are.
get to like what I guess the end game is,
I think we need to focus that Martin just said that Zoids is homeschooled Voltron because it's really good. But yeah, we should get to the end of it. But yeah, we should get to the ending of it. Basically, they've kind of connected the
yeah,
pieces.
Seiko had been secretly designing the creature so that it would not like perform apoptosis, which is basically a cell killing itself so that it doesn't continue to multiply and
Because
become cancerous.
It's where it gets real sad.
They keep calling it the self-destruct protocol.
Because basically, her daughter passed away from a rare type of cancer, which is where she got the cells from, and she wanted her to live on in a way.
Yeah, she feels like that's her daughter continuing as a
Fish
big scary fish monster that we want to talk about when they reveal that the monster's a hard body.
Yeah. Well, we should talk about this. So at this point, they've all come together. The main characters from Patlabor are still in the background, but now they're more part of the plot where they're there to pilot 2 of the Patlabors.
And they kind of, when this happens, the whole conceit of how the world works made a bit more sense in my head.
and
When you see these people from an anime suddenly in this pretty intense, pretty serious police procedural.
And the pieces coming together did feel satisfying. I did really like how the end came together. And they have the giant fight in the abandoned arena that they had an American director working in. And one of my favorite things in anime is when they have an American guy screaming curse.
I do have to tell y'all, I watched the dub because I'm a freak, and it's important.
Yeah.
It's important
Oh,
that you
geez,
know
sorry.
that in the English dub, the American director is Italian.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
Wow. Hey, I mean that plays perfectly with Podzooky, where you can't be racist against Italians.
They knew. They must listen to Podzooky.
They must.
They didn't make him look this way, but my head, I like to think the director was Kevin Smith.
He looked like, so in my mind he was a younger, more buff Steven Spielberg. If the
If he had been
WWE
born
had
in
a
the
version,
70s.
yeah, or the WWE had a version of Spielberg back in the mid 90s.
Oh, okay. So if he did instead of Jaws, if he did Lats.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
That's another. Man, I think we're gonna get all the audio clips from you this episode.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's always funny when they have an American, and in the Japanese dub, they got a decent voice actor, but it is just a guy screaming in a booth going, "What the fuck are you doing?" And once again, it actually made it feel more grounded because I'm like, that is kind of what America would be doing.
100%. I mean, that's what I'd be doing in that situation.
But yeah, they clear out the arena, they get everything set up so they can lure the monster in a very cool reveal.
Well, they figured out that the monster was attracted to these ultra high frequencies, and
Do you want to talk about it, or I should? Because I loved it so much.
about how he figured it out,
Yeah,
just because of his record collection.
Yeah. Oh my god. So when that happened, the older detective is like an audiophile, and he only listens to records, and he talks about how CDs can't go to a certain frequency, and that's why he realized that it had to be the record that was when they attached when the monster attacked the warehouse because they were having a rave that used records instead of CDs or digital audio. And I'm like, oh man, this is a Brandon film right here. This is such a Brandon film.
I understand the concept of like a setup and a payoff. He's got this skill with old records that pays off in something later, but it just felt, if you didn't have that in there, I wasn't gonna miss it.
Well, another key component too, when they lured and they specifically end up playing Beethoven's Piano Sonata No. 8, because this is another pseudo thing of they're trying to basically say that some part of her did carry on to the monster, and that's a debate that the characters are having. But she has.
That's why it had boobs.
That's why it had. Well, that actually, I'm going to talk about that part because I think it actually is important to the plot and the representation of what happens. Is when she was a kid, they recorded a recital of her playing that. Her mother basically has been watching that on a loop over and over again in their apartment because they hinted at she's pretty much gone insane at this point too. Mm-hmm. Tragically though, she's still very much a well done character, but even the main character's fallen for her and realize there's no return from this. But they use that song to lure her, basically the sea monster, and to have the fight. And then, like you're saying, we can get to the scene where the armor comes off it, and it just says...
Well, you mentioned I want to talk about this for a second, that they used her daughter's piano tape to lure the monster in instead of whatever they were going to.
Yeah.
What was the tone supposed to be for that? Because to me, that seems really mean.
It seems mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like they were supposed to play it like that was sweet.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's kind of a closure for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a closure, but also I think the older detective had found it tied to a lot of the research. So I wonder if they're trying to imply that he thought it was like what they were using to control the beast or get it where it needed to be, and maybe didn't realize the connection. Because the older detective hadn't found out about the mom being a part of that, and that it was her daughter's sales that was put through. That was Hada figured that out too. That's my theory on that, at least.
Well, okay.
Also, it's a really cool fight scene to have Beethoven's sonata playing with it.
Again, it just comes to my problem with this movie where I feel like I know what's going on because I know how a movie works and is put together.
Yeah.
But if I didn't, I would be very lost.
And I think that's what I like about this movie, but it might be challenging to others. You really have to pay attention to this movie. It definitely will not give you any pacing or any help if you're
And sometimes
watching
it
intensely.
is literally just a little too dark.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Especially
Very dark.
at the end before they start turning on all the lights.
Yeah, both tone-wise and just lighting-wise. Yeah, so basically, as the fight goes on, the armor gets torn off, and it turns out that the sea creature has a rocking pair of titties. Listen, I'm being truthful here. This is not a joke.
Yeah.
But the reason I think that the design was intentionally done, I think actually is important to the plot.
It's a reveal,
it's
so
a
they're
reveal.
definitely important.
Wait
Yeah.
a second. C cups.
No.
SEA.
Okay, SCA. Okay, C cup. Man, you're batting like a 300 on this one. You're just getting them out of the field, home runs all around. So the reason I thought about this too is it's like such a weird thing to focus on, but then I realized the whole idea behind her mother carrying on is she wanted her daughter to live, and it was kind of supposed to be like a way that they show like it got to get to adulthood, like womanhood, basically, which is really fucked up and dark.
Yeah.
But it's like it made so much sense when I really thought about like she was seeing basically like her dream fulfilled, and that's why she was like ready to basically die. And when she falls off the side of the arena, and they show the crumpled body, it's once again tone wise and looks wise, it's a very dark film, but very well done. I feel like
It feels like an episode of a TV show that stars these two detectives.
Yeah.
And like this episode, Hada had the love interest, but she can't stick around because they got to go on an adventure next week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's
Like
got to
if-
be in love with somebody else.
like this would have been like an X-Files spin-off in Japan that would have also been critically acclaimed from the mid-90s.
I was thinking more like Jake and the Fat Man.
Okay, I can see that.
I mean, well, Brandon brought up this. I mean, Madhouse did Ghost in the Shell. Like, this does feel like it would pair
100%.
well as like just a companion show for a standalone complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once again, like keep the very subtle tone as they show both the older detective hanging out with the major of the original Patlabor team at the end, which is kind of cool, getting popsicles, and then also Hada visiting her gravesite at the end of it, and that's like that's
Is that why that guy was important? He was from the original series?
yeah.
And
He's basically like kind of the major of the team.
Okay.
So.
I was
So-
wondering why he showed up.
And I think it is that thing of even
the
they realize
bookend.
like we have to have some connections to the original series even at the end of this, or people are going to be.
Well, I
really
thought
pissed.
the movie was going to end with Seiko's dead body, then them pulling out from the stadium,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then pulling out from Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really held
Like
on
I
to that.
thought, like yeah, I was like, oh, geez, is this really how they're in the movie? That's I like a downer
Yeah, no moral.
ending, but
Yeah. Yeah. And at the end, I feel like the moral is like, remember those lost and like, good luck.
they did a little bit kind of like the Watchmen thing, where on the internet people know that the story's not really everything
Yeah.
that the government's saying, even though also I don't really care about the cover up that much.
No, and also like the modern times we live in, where we know even finding out the truth doesn't mean shit at this point. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
somebody-
you can just lie to people blatantly.
Somebody's in that stadium posting a picture of the monster's titties, being like, "Yo, check this out." It's going on Blue Sky.
They
right
were
away.
listen. It feels weird to go back, but they were really well animated and drawn. And once again, it's not even a joke. I think it is a very integral part and symbology for the film to have that. But man, whoever
No,
was
I
animating,
think
like,
I
they
think
knew
you're
what they were
right.
doing.
I just think again something that was maybe a little unnecessary.
As they said in the 2019, they knew the assignment.
I think True Detective is a very apt comparison because it's very pretentious sometimes.
And here's the thing. I'm guilty of this, and I think we should get into the reviews after this. Is that God, I love the pretentious shit like that, especially a detective story.
Yeah.
We got to do this once again. 5 out of 5 rockin' anime monster titties. For the section, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm gonna get into the review right away because I've been thinking about it all day. This is not quite a 5, but I'm gonna get very, very close. This is a 4.75 rockin' anime sea monster titties. Of I really love this film. I'm gonna go back and watch this for sure, like probably this week, because there's so many details with it, and also just the storytelling, the atmosphere. I really loved True Detective when it came out. I love the movie The Host. It has all those elements to it. I love Patlabor. It's not quite a Patlabor movie or part of the show, but like the side characters being in there is kind of a cool idea, and I like that it has such a wildly different tone, but it makes sense. And once again, going back to comparison, this is very much like why I love Fire Walk with Me and Twin Peaks, is that they are in the same universe, but it's like they had such a clear vision of what they want to tell was going on the side. It's like a bigger picture, different atmosphere, different storytelling, but still connected in a very cool way. I'm glad I saw it now, because I think when I was younger, when I had first seen Patlabor, if I saw it as a 18-year-old Brand, I'd be like, what the fuck is this stupid bullshit? God, those tits were really well drawn. Holy shit, but God, this sucked. It's I loved it. Fuck.
I will give it a 2 out of 5. I'm actually going down a little bit after we've talked about it, because
Brandon liked it too much.
No, I think things that were frustrating me while I was watching it are more apparent after talking about it for a little while. Things that just not being really sure what's going on, and for reasons beyond, I think, just kind of poor storytelling, or no reason beyond just kind of poor storytelling. I'm sure maybe I would get more out of it if I watched it again, but I don't know that I care to.
Yeah.
It worked really well as, like a True Detective style police procedural. I really liked it on that level. I liked the scenes of them questioning people, and where it had a soft kind of like noiry jazz music playing. I thought that it was very atmospheric.
Yeah,
but
shout out to that soundtrack again too. I gotta say the soundtrack is so phenomenal.
Yeah, I liked all of its individual parts well enough. I just don't think they all cohesed well together. So yeah, I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. It's good for people to watch it. I think people would enjoy it, but it's a little confusing.
On the two opposite ends of the reviews and like ratings, I feel like I also completely agree, because I loved it for all those reasons, but it's also a reason I could see that people would not enjoy it or get into it. So
I mean, I definitely want to give it a 4 out of 5, because I definitely feel like I'm between both of you. I did greatly enjoy it, but I also did need to watch it 2.5 times to really understand what was happening.
Yeah.
And I did, the first time I watch it, fall asleep near the beginning of the film, because it was a little boring.
I wanted to talk about this too. I want to give this a new seal of approval, the Brand seal of approval, where it's a movie where I don't watch it at 1.25 to 1.5 speed, because we do a lot of stinkers on this, so I'm usually watching it at that speed.
Well, it really fails at being a monster movie, I think, because that set piece in the DNA warehouse or whatever it is really confusing. Until the ending, the only time you really see the monster. You see it, you kind of see it underwater a few times, but those scenes are so dark. Like, you can't really make anything out.
They have to wait for the reveal.
It almost seems like...
Which actually might be true, actually, how they did the plotting.
It almost seems like they had to hide the killer from the production for some reason.
Yeah, that's very true. I wonder if they change. I wonder if there's a lot of stories or changes or edits on this as they were doing this.
Yeah, it seems like it was being made like for a long time. Like I think started in 1995 production. Didn't come out till 2002.
Oh, fuck.
It's, from what I read, it was like originally supposed to be just an OVA release, and then a corporate over, somebody up top was like, that would explain a movie.
Yeah, that would explain, because even though it came out in the early 2000s, it feels kind of like more like a late 90s sort of thing.
It also makes 100% sense to me now as you said that out loud, because in the actual storyline, this takes place between Patlabor 1 and 2 for the movies, technically, for the timeline. So if it was in production after the first one came out for the first movie, that makes sense timeline-wise.
Why the fuck didn't they call it Patrick Labor 1.5? That would have made so much more sense.
Because it came out after 2?
Well, yeah, but it's taking place between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The Lion King had already done that.
Yeah.
Let's put Timon and Pumbaa.
But Horse, you gotta. We know your review now, which is we need more Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah.
But give us a review. How are you feeling about this?
I think I'm gonna have to give it 3.5 Rockin' Anime Titties out of 5, which is sort of a tough number. But no, I don't know. I'm a little bit unable to separate my fanish brain from my movie appreciation brain. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, because I as a fan, I'd heard this one's the stinker. You don't want to watch this one. But it was pretty good. And I feel like it was actually a lot more even if like the setting and the characters weren't exactly like, what I expected from the other movies or the series, it actually felt pretty tonally similar, at least to the second movie, which is like sort of a slow burn political thriller type deal. So it didn't feel like too out of step with everything else. At the same time, I was also, I was every time one of my guys showed up in the background, I was like, "That's one of my guys. My guys are there. Why aren't we talking to my guys?"
Yeah, what are the guys doing? No, wait, you're going away from the guys. Go back to them. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, I gotta mention it for the third time, but it's so funny, like hearing her original like voice actor they got for doing her character is such a clearly like '90s anime girl voice. So in a very realistic setting, it's like basically hearing like a magical cat girl.
It's like in the Shazam movie when they bring up Superman.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put that. Yeah, it's.
Hey, can the special vehicle 2 unit do anything? We're here.
And I think you mentioned a really good thing too, Horace, is like if the second movie also didn't exist, this movie would feel even more bizarre because the second one does have a lot more serious and darker tone because the original Patlabors are very, I'd say, slice of life, but also they're like a very cheerful bunch and they're fun to follow, a really positive crew. It's just nice to be around them, I feel like, in all of the anime and OVAs. So the darkness definitely is like hardly earned.
Bob the Builder energy.
Yeah, that is actually, there really is the Bob the Builder of animes for Mecha. But in a good way. I think it's time to get to we're not doing a game section, it's the Rizzler section. I'm going to make a jingle for it. The Rizzler.
The Rizzo.
Okay, we're gonna. We'll put I think we'll use it actually for the art for this episode.
Okay. Did we explain who the Rizzler was?
Okay, let's get into what's going on here real quick.
So the Rizzler is a child who stole the Rock's move, also known as the People's Eyebrow, and for some reason he got popular online.
Immensely popular.
Who was his?
I mean, John Belushi did it too.
Yeah,
like, that was also his thing.
It's a thing that's existed for long before the Rizzler.
As long as people had eyebrows.
Yes.
But he's a young stout child, we should say.
Yes. What's his friend's name?
Young Justice is dead, right?
Oh, I thought it was Old Crime.
Okay. I just got the joke now. I didn't fucking. God damn it. I thought that was a real person for a while because like they all have such ridiculous names.
Yeah.
Like I was imagining like kind of a Santa Claus like character. It's me, Old Crime. Let's go. But yeah, the Rizzler is a very popular, I'd say, internet personality. They also do a review show with their dad on Costco where they give things booms.
Well, wait, do they? Because I thought the Rizzler was a different person. I thought Young Justice did something with his big dad.
Okay, Young Justice and Big Dad. I thought they're connected. I'm looking this up.
Well, no, I know they're like friends, but like I thought Young Justice and Rusty were different people.
It's really important to get the lore right.
Oh, this is bringing up Young Justice the series, though. I do love Young Justice. That's a great series.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty good show.
Okay, let me do the Rizzler and Young Justice and see if that brings it up.
The people in the Rizzler wiki are going to kick y'all's asses.
They're going to know it.
Oh, we should call this...
fucking idiot.
You don't know anything about the
Rizzler.
Rizzler.
Episode, the People's Rizzler.
Yeah, the People's Rizzler. AJ and Big Justice.
Oh, okay, Big Justice.
Big Justice. It took me forever to get there. God damn it. Okay.
What were you calling them, Old Justice?
They are separate people, but they listen. The Rizzler does a lot, does stuff with them too. Okay, finally got there. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, yeah. So the Rizzler's in a beast child, and we have a can
of Arizona. This is licensed his likeness, I suppose.
Yeah. Who did you say this looked like? Luke?
Gabriel Iglesias is who it looks like.
100%. He's got that smug look just like him.
Oh, that's tough. I'm seeing this can. That is tough.
Yeah.
Okay. And all three of them together do the Costco reviews. Okay, so I'm not crazy. I thought I was going insane for a second. Like I know there's a Big Justice there. But the Rizzler is on it. I do want to talk about. We'll once again have the art for the episode. I'm going to say something very controversial. I really like the design of this can. I find the colors very appealing. I like the art.
I mean, Arizona knows what they're doing.
They do know what they're doing. It has the classic Arizona feel. They put 2 Z's on Arizona to match the Rizzler.
It's color-coded to the berries that it's flavored after.
Look at that. Wow.
I did tell Horace that we were going to drink it on air if they had the chance to get it, but I also didn't want them to feel pressure.
I tried. I did my best.
You buy a mic.
Unfortunately, the Rizzler evaded me. for the time being. But
I
I'll
feel
be on the
like
hunt.
getting you on this podcast, I'm very excited to have you, and it's been a great episode. But I feel like as a Rumpelstiltskin character, where I like, gave you all these Herculean tasks, like now you must get a mic and find the Rizzler juice. But you've conquered all of the quests. Should we pop it open and start getting into the how many booms we're gonna give it?
Yeah. We should taste this. And here, someone open this on mic. So
We're doing this
big-
communal cell, right?
Yeah.
Zima?
Oh, this is
'Cause
beautiful.
we're Catholics. Okay, there we go. Ooh,
Ooh,
that was a
that's-
good one.
That was a nice open.
Okay, I don't think it's carbonated.
It says lightly carbonated.
So Rizzler berry, I'm guessing it's
Light-
going to be
lightly.
like
Oh,
a
lightly.
blue raspberry flavor, right? That's
I mean, it's
Raspberry.
got blueberries and strawberries on it.
All right,
so-
update.
and blackberries.
updated. It's carbonated, and you know what?
And raspberries.
I hate
So
to
it's a
say
berry
this.
medley.
It's pretty good. I like it a lot.
That's how he gets you.
I like it a lot. Because I thought this was going to be sickly sweet. It is sweet, but it's not terribly sweet. It's not like
I have to go
offensively
third.
sweet.
Yeah, it's not overpowering, and it's fine.
It's a refreshing beverage. It's a refreshing Bizzler, a Rizzler. Let's see, 12 ounces. We're looking at 130 calories, so it's like 20 less than a usual Coke. So they definitely didn't overdo it with the sugar. It is caffeine.
And yeah, it's a berry cocktail
yeah.
with lightly carbonated.
Kiwi juice, lemon. It sees like raspberry juice. Mostly natural ingredients, because once again, this is an Arizona product and drink. No synthetic color or artificial flavors.
I mean, the Rizzler doesn't put his name on
You
bad
think the
products.
You think the
This-
Rizzler gets a little bit of every can, or they just gave him a flat rate?
Oh, I thought he was just inside every can, like that Treehouse of Horror joke about.
Do you think
Ooter.
when he gets really annoyed, he goes, "The Riz getting jizzed"?
I hope not.
Yeah, because he thinks
He's got-
he thinks he's getting mad. Nobody
a
explains
little
that
bit
in something
older.
else.
Once he gets a few
I'm doing
years
one more
older.
sip out of this. Sorry. All right, you guys ready for how many booms this is out of 5 booms? Boom, 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 boom.
Boom.
Not 5.
Boom.
Okay, that's
I-
whoa.
I was gonna say
Alright, stop.
I don't agree. Like I think it tastes fine, but I don't think I'll ever drink it again. I
Yeah.
award it no booms.
Well, I should say this. I love a blue raspberry flavor. I like a soda. This is a lot of flavor brand profiles going on here. I would honestly buy this and drink it again in the future and get excited about it. I'm so sad this is true about me.
I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. I would definitely put it on my shelf with the rest of my novelty beverages.
Yeah.
Right between my can of Surge and my bottle of Zima.
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 Oh, so this is also very deep Podzooky lore too. Sorry to do this to you again, Horse. The beverage madness with former guest and future guest Dane Arden started because we found a pack of Zimas and we made him drink them in us on an episode, and we're like, Zima's kind of good. So after that's been collectively worse and worse energy and alcohol drinks to make him drink as we do the episode.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
good.
Zima Madness, I believe we called it.
Zima.
The Zima madness. Man, this podcast is fun. I'm gonna say that again. We've been doing this for a while, but
We have.
yeah. That's replacing the game section. I got to figure out what the Rizzler jingle's gonna be. The Rizzler Jingsler. I gotta stop.
We're going to get there. It's hard to put Z's in words.
Is it very obvious that I'm like running on 4 hours of sleep and like burnout is just happening in real time to me?
Drink more Rizzler juice. That'll help.
Man, thank you. I will. I got that for the mic. That's for the misophonia listeners out there. Well, Horace, we're gonna get to our recommendation and plug section, and then we can cut you free here. But I usually kick off the recommendations and plugs, but I'm gonna sit back and let somebody else go for it.
I saw the first season of Nirvana, the band, the show,
Oh, hell
while my
yeah.
brother was in town. It was really good. It's kind of like such a weird format. It's kind of like Flight of the Conchords, but instead of music, it's intellectual properties.
Yeah,
And yeah, I don't really. I've not watched any of the behind the footage stuff about them. I know that like there's some weird way with like how Canadian laws work, why they're allowed to put a whole bunch of scenes from Jurassic Park into their first episode. But it's really interesting and unique and is very funny. So yeah, Nirvana, the band, the show, and I heard the movie's good too. I've not seen that yet.
I've heard great things about
Well,
the movie.
because you can get the first season of the show on Amazon Prime, but I don't think you can purchase the other seasons for some
it
reason.
sucks, because it's a great show. I think it's
Yeah.
really funny. I had a friend once explain it. It's like if Flight of the Conchords was less funny, but not in a bad way. I'm like, I kind of see that. I don't mean that either. Damning, it is a very funny show still.
I just compared it to Flight of the Conchords
And
a
I'm saying,
moment
but
ago.
less funny.
Okay.
I really like Flight of the Conchords, so that's my issue. It holds a very sacred place in my heart, I feel like.
Oh yeah. I haven't recommended this I think ever, but it's a big comfort show for me. Go watch The Golden Girls.
Oh hell
Golden
yeah!
Girls is good.
Yeah, I like The Golden Girls.
I watch that show a lot.
Yeah.
My mom would watch it whenever we would order pizza. I guess it would be on Lifetime on Fridays. Probably more of the correlation there after or before Supermarket Sweep.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
There's also a sequel series called The Golden Palace that also featured
It had Don Cheadle,
Cheech
didn't
Marin and Don Cheadle.
it? Man.
that is a lineup right there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And had
That had to be a
all the
very
girls
young Don
except
Cheadle,
for
right?
B. Arthur.
Yeah. Man.
They opened a hotel.
My recommendations and plugs. I decided to go off Studio Madhouse and also going with Oshira's production catalog. So this is going to be controversial. I don't like the original Ghost in the Shell, and I don't like the spin-off series most of the part. They're good. I understand why people like them. It's just never been my jam. But I really love Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence, because it's, once again, same team and directors around the same time. I think that's another great, like, weird anime side quest movie that ends up being a really good detective show. This movie made me think about that and how much I love that, and I kind of want to go back and watch Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence. If you've never seen it, I really highly recommend it too, especially because it's a whole movie about basically unbelievable narratives, and then also like very hard to follow plots, but in a fun way. Cool movie. Love that movie. And then for plugs, as always, if you're in Chicago on the second Wednesday of the month at Lincoln Lodge at 7 p.m., go see Thirst for Adventure. It's the show I co-produce with Hobart Thompson and a few other past guests, where we have a bunch of comedians and artists in the city and other places when they're in town play a one-shot game of D&D. It's always fun and good. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Horace, tell us what you'd like to plug or recommend. You can do both. We allow it on this podcast.
This might be an unprecedented illegal move, or it might be precedented. I don't know. I haven't heard all the episodes. To recommend two things. One to the general audience, and one to y'all specifically. General recommendation: webcomics. People should go read webcomics. You ever heard of those?
Hell yeah.
I just feel like it's a good. There's a bunch of comics coming out right now. Like for the past few months, a bunch of my friends have just been like making a bunch of stuff, and I've been really excited to see all that. A bunch of comics coming out on Blue Sky.
Specific
and stuff.
one I want to give is like Mel on Blue Sky started doing a comic called Hilda the 13th.
Oh yeah,
I
Mellow
love
Dillo.
that
Yeah,
comic.
they're a
so
great
good.
friend of mine. I've
love
really
Girl
been loving
Juice.
Hilda.
I love Benji Nate's work.
Yeah.
If you go to horseonvhs.com, always be closing. You can go to my links section and see. I linked a bunch of webcomics on there that I like. I also made a thread sometime a few months ago on Blue Sky, just like recommending a bunch of webcomics I'm reading right now. Horseonvhs.com on Blue Sky as well. Always be closing. And you can also read my webcomic, Nothing Doing, at horseonvhs.com/nothingdoing. It's
I'm glad I got the early plug for it again, because I do have to say I love that comic so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's for some shit I make on my lunch break when I'm depressed. People seem to like it a lot, and that makes me happy. My recommendation for y'all specifically, as sort of a follow-up, sort of a palate cleanser for this movie, whether you liked it or didn't like it, I feel like you will either way find some interest in Patlabor the Early Days, Episode 3, which is a slapstick Godzilla parody featuring the robot cops from the end of this movie.
I had a feling you were going for that one, because it's a really great
It
one.
is.
Also, when you said a palate cleanser, I instantly thought, kind of like a Rizzler berry juice. I'm drinking as we're recording. I love this shit.
I'm so
The rest
happy
of
for
these
you to
cans
have
are all
found a new
yours,
trend.
Brandon.
I'm on it. I'm about it. But yeah, it's I think a great recommendation too, because it is both the OVAs and the original anime fantastic. It's just a good slice of life. Once again, we didn't get into the ACAB debate, but we're at the end of the episode. Is it ACAB? Sure, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, no, all cops are bastards, and it does hurt every time I say that. I do have to include RoboCop, Officer Jenny. I gotta include
Brooklyn
Patrick
Nine-Nine.
Labor.
Yeah, Patrick Labor.
Something that makes me
They're all
something
there.
that makes me feel better about the cop situation in Patlabor is that in universe, all of these guys are hated. Like every episode of the show is like they cause public destruction, and everybody is just like, please go home, and they're like, no, sorry, we have to do robot shit. So, as long as they're suffering for it, I can feel pretty good about
The
it.
realism we talked about is very well done throughout the entire series and franchise of like they realize people don't like cops.
Yeah.
It's not like I feel like in American media where like everybody's like on the show like we love cops when like everybody in America's like ooh.
One of the best and worst episodes of the TV show is one where they have to have an insurance agent just follow them around because one of them keeps stepping on cars.
Yeah.
It ends with her sort of being like, wow, actually what cops do is really important, giving them a pass. But for the first 20 minutes, you can just be like, look at these morons. Quit stepping on cars.
Yeah. The only time I feel like it's done well in American media when it's complete satire like a Reno 911.
Yeah.
Where the cops are bastards and they're very funny.
Yeah.
So
God, I love Reno 911.
I love Reno 911. But yeah, once again, Horsey, so funny saying your name right again.
My little trick.
Thank you for being. We got tricked. I thought I was the Rumpelstiltskin, but I was the one getting my gold wheat taken away. Thank you so much for doing this. I think this was a really fun one, and go watch some anime with mechas.
Yeah.
That's what I say. There's so many good ones. There's a lot of bad ones out there, but sometimes the bad ones are the really
Yeah.
good ones. I'm talking about G Gundam.
Should we try out our sign off? Don't bullshit or don't shit talk G Gundam.
That's a new one. I think that's going to be our new.
No. Well, let's do the sign off.
Okay. Is that the new sign off though?
No, I think he was just
I was just
interrupting
saying, like,
his own thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
I would never
I
shit
like
talk
G
G
Gundam.
Gundam. It's a piece of shit, but in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
God,
It's the G Gundam spot.
There we go. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
You
Boom.
don't like the way
Boom.
you fuck. Guarantee hit.
Boom. Boom.
Robot Man had one point. Gotta go fast.
Vroom.
We regret that you have not yet complied with our order.
This show has been brought to you by Machine Culture.